welcome back to another episode of Original Understudies, where I've gathered the most original understudies, and today we're going to finally move on to the next phase of Original Understudies. Improv is a tool that we use to perform acting, and it's helpful for actors to be able to get into character, and today we're finally going to do what the original intention of this project has been, and that's theater. We're going to be reading through some plays today.
Read Spolin if you're not familiar with that philosophy.
Yes, yeah. Please read Spolin. She's been a huge movement in improv to be used for plays in theater. So today we're going to be working on 3 short one-act plays that I had a... These are plays, I'm not sure that I'm supposed to share them. They're plays that I auditioned for in the past and did not make the cut. But we'll be reading through these short one-act plays. But let me introduce the understudies today. Jake Regal, welcome back.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. What?
Anything that you can share on social media today?
Sure, at Jake Regal is where you could find me on social media. Check it out.
When's the last time you performed a traditional play on stage?
The truthful answer to that is probably around 10 years ago. For a couple years in a row, I was in like the second and third LA Fringe festivals. It's like a slightly more established thing now. The time was a little fly by the seat of the pants.
Was that at the Ivar Theater in Hollywood?
It was in a variety of theaters. There's always been several spaces for it. Yeah.
Welcome back, Amy Burry. Thanks for being here today, Amy.
Thanks for having me.
Would you like to share any internet connections?
I like to keep a low profile, so I'm going to stick with that. But I'm really excited to be actually acting today.
Yeah, me too.
And the last time I was in a play was in a Fringe Festival play as well, probably about 10 to 12 years ago. And it was back in Minnesota, and the play was called How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Dong.
And love the dong?
Yes. And so I'm excited to see what happens now.
I've known you for a long time, but I am constantly learning things that I would have never expected about you.
Yeah.
I have never heard that story, and I can't wait to hear more.
I can't.
And we have... Sorry for interrupting. I'm like the most awkward human being. That's why we kind of need a script to just stick to, when you talk, and it's simple as that.
Most improvisers are really comfortable and confident, but you're a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's what makes you stand out.
It's different. Yeah. Thank you. Mary, welcome back, Mary.
Hi.
Where can people find you online?
You can find me everywhere as Mary Doodles. I'm on YouTube at Mary Doodles. I do regular art videos. I got a new season 2.0 springing forth in preparation for an event that's happening at the end of April. I'm on Instagram, all sorts of stuff. So watch me draw and paint and watch paint dry.
And honestly, watching paint dry with you is a hell of a lot of fun because I don't know if you do it as much anymore, but the watercolors, and particularly I used to enjoy watching when you would paint with coffee because I'm a coffee fanatic.
Oh, heck yeah.
And there's this weird, like the coffee, the way that, not just the way it dries, but the way that the water underneath it absorbs is pretty trippy looking.
Yeah. I love that you said that because I'm planning on doing another series of coffee paintings because it's been years since I've done it. So,
I love those ones. It might be because I'm a coffee freak, but I do love them. And last but not least, we have Landon Kirksey.
Oh, James.
Landon,
hello.
Where can people find you?
Oh, you could get on your internet device, and you just type in Splandon, and then boom, here I am right there. My ugly face will be looking at your face, and it'll be all good for everybody.
All good for everybody. Great. So without further ado, I'd like to go into the first play that we have written. Let me bring up the doc really quick. It's an untitled horror play, and I'll be playing the narrator.
So to be clear, James, you auditioned for an untitled horror play. I
auditioned for the role of Edward.
Okay, got it.
But I'm not playing Edward today.
Got it.
And I don't know if they ended up with a title afterwards.
Of course.
But at the
version
process
of the script
that we were
you
in,
had.
Yeah, you had the blue pages. And they weren't.
It said untitled on the front.
Right.
So the setting is a dark laboratory deep in the woods. And the characters are, and you can chime in when you say you're playing them. It's Charles, a grumpy billionaire with a heart condition.
I'll be playing Charles.
That's Jake. Sally, a smart and nerdy tech girl who's Brad's sister.
I'll be playing Sally.
Brad, a tough jock who loves to talk about his high school accomplishments and happens to be Sally's brother.
That's also me.
Great. Edward, the role I was supposed to be, a scientist looking for a monster.
I'm playing that role. Although James, if you want to fulfill your dreams and play Edward, that's okay with me too. But
I kind of feel like since I didn't get cast, I should not. If any role, that's the role I shouldn't play because I was deemed just not good.
James,
enough for
it's selection, not rejection. You have to remember that.
And it's a shame that this is a spoiler, but it's true. In the play, there's a monster, and the monster's name is Crowlog. Crowlog will be played by... Oh, it's a monster made of human body parts that speaks perfect English.
Yes.
And that is played by...
that will be played by me, Mary. Doodles.
Wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
And let's get started. The scene opens with Edward examining a large laboratory table covered in various scientific instruments and a large jar filled with an unidentified liquid. He's muttering to himself, scribbling notes in a worn-out notebook.
This has to work. I can't let them down again.
Enter Brad, Sally, and Charles. Brad flexes his muscles, while Sally holds a stack of books and a laptop. Charles looks grumpy and unimpressed.
Yo, Edward, what's the deal, man? Why'd you call us here?
Brad, Sally, Charles, I'm glad you're all here. I have something important to show you.
Can we make it quick? I have tea time in an hour.
Yes, of course. Let me just...
He walks over to a large cabinet, pulls out a key, and unlocks it. He pulls out a small vial filled with a dark, viscous liquid.
This is it. The formula for my greatest creation, the ultimate monster.
That's terrifying. Why would you want to create a monster?
For science, of course, to push the limits of what we know about life and death.
I don't know about this, man. Sounds like a bad idea. I agree. This sounds like a waste of time.
But you see, I've already created the monster. It's in the next room.
The group hesitates, exchanging glances.
Edward, is this a joke, right?
No, it's not a joke. I've created the perfect monster. It's unlike anything the world has ever seen, and I need your help to contain it.
Edward leads the group to the next room where they see Crowlog. Crowlog is a massive humanoid creature made of stitched-together human body parts. Despite its monstrous appearance, Crowlog speaks in a cultured British accent.
Greetings, humans. It's a pleasure to meet you.
The group recoils in horror and disgust.
Oh, dude, that thing is gross.
What is it? How did you create it?
I used a combination of science and dark magic. I needed human body parts to create the perfect monster, so I acquired them.
This is madness. I'm leaving.
Charles turns to leave, but suddenly collapses, clutching his chest.
Charles, are you okay?
No. It seems his heart condition has acted up. We need to get him to a hospital immediately.
Oh, what about that thing? We can't just leave it here.
Don't worry, Crowlog won't harm anyone. He's under my control.
Indeed, I am at Edward's command.
The group leaves the laboratory with Edward carrying Charles. As they exit, Crowlog's eyes glow ominously.
Edward, I must admit that I have developed feelings for Sally. Her intelligence and kindness are unmatched in the world of humans.
Crowlog, you must understand that humans and monsters cannot have romantic relationships. It's just not possible.
But why? I have feelings just like humans do, and Sally is the perfect match for me. We could have a beautiful life together.
It's not that simple, Krolog. Humans and monsters have always been at odds with each other. It's not just about biology, it's about history and culture.
I refuse to believe that. Love transcends boundaries. I will prove to Sally that I am worthy of her love.
Meanwhile, in the hospital, Charles is in critical condition. Mr. Charles, your heart condition has worsened. We need to operate on you right away.
Just make it quick. I have to stop Edward and that monster.
What are you talking about?
Edward created a monster, and it's not just any monster. It's intelligent and romantic.
I see. Well, we'll do our best to save you, Mr. Charles, but you need to focus on getting better. Back at the laboratory, Krolog is stalking Sally, who's trying to find a way out.
Stay away from me, you thing! I won't let you hurt me.
Sally, please listen to me. I know I may look scary, but I have feelings, just like you do. I love you.
Love me? How can you even pretend what love is? You're a monster.
Love is universal, Sally. It doesn't matter what species or form you are. I have never felt this way before. Please, give me a chance.
I don't know. This is all too much to handle.
Just then, Brad bursts into the room, wielding a baseball bat.
Get away from my sister, you freak!
Brad, please. I mean no harm. I just want to be with Sally.
Oh, you're crazy if you think that's going to happen. I'll make sure you never come near her again.
Brad swings the bat at Krolog, who catches it effortlessly and then tosses Brad aside and grabs Sally.
I'm sorry, Sally, but I cannot let you go. I must be with you, no matter what.
Just then, Edward bursts into the room, carrying Charles on a stretcher.
Krolog, stop! This is madness!
Edward, you must understand. I love Sally. I cannot live without her.
Krolog, I'm sorry, but I cannot allow you to harm anyone. I must put you back in stasis.
Edward reaches for a syringe filled with a tranquilizer, but Krolog swats it out of his hand.
Whoa.
He then charges at Edwards, knocking him aside. As Krolog turns back to Sally, Brad charges at him with a knife, but Krolog easily disarms him and tosses him aside as well.
Krolog, please! Stop this! I can't be with you. I'm sorry.
No! You can't do this to me.
Sally runs towards Edward and Charles, who are lying on the floor.
We need to get out of here. Edward, can you do something?
I'm sorry, Sally. I don't have any more tranquilizers. We need to think of something else.
As they scramble to their feet, Krolog approaches them menacingly. Suddenly, Charles starts to wheeze and gasp for air. His heart monitor beeps erratically.
Oh no! Charles, we have to get him out of here.
Krolog sees Charles' condition and hesitates for a moment, giving Sally and the others a chance to run past them. They make it to the exit of the laboratory, but Krolog is still behind them. Just as he reaches out to grab Sally, Charles lets out a loud scream and falls to the ground.
What's happening? What have you done to him?
It's his heart, Krolog. He's having a heart attack.
Sally and the others make it out of the laboratory as Krolog stays behind, torn between his love for Sally and his duty to help Charles. As they reach the parking lot, they hear a loud explosion from inside the laboratory.
What was that? Did the monster...
No. It was the self-destruct mechanism. I activated it before we left. The laboratory is gone, along with Krolog.
I can't believe it. This is all so surreal. How could someone create a monster like that?
I'm sorry, Sally. I was blinded by my obsession with science. I didn't realize the consequences of my actions until it was too late.
Don't worry, sis. We'll get through this together.
As they drive away from the laboratory, Sally looks out the window lost in thought. She can't help but feel sorry for Krolog, the monster who loved her. She wonders if there was a way they could have been together, if only things had been different. Act 2, 6 months later. The scene opens on Sally's apartment. Sally is sitting on her couch, scrolling through her phone. There's a knock at her door.
Who is it?
It's me, Prologue.
Sally hesitates for a moment before opening the door. Prologue is standing in the hallway looking downcast.
Prologue, what are you doing here? Where did you find me?
I followed you. Sally, I need your help.
My help? What kind of help?
I don't know what's happening to me. I feel different, like something is changing inside me. I need you to help me.
I don't know if I can help you, Prologue. You're a monster and I'm just a human.
But you're the only one who understands me. You're the only one who sees me as more than just a collection of body parts. Please, Sally, I need your help.
Sally looks at Prologue, her heart torn. She can't help but feel sorry for him, despite everything that's happened.
Okay, Prologue. I'll help you. But we have to be careful. We can't let anyone see you.
Thank you, Sally. You don't know how much this means to me.
Over the next few days, Sally works with Prologue to keep him hidden. She buys him clothes, teaches him how to speak more like a human, and even helps him get a job at a local coffee shop. Prologue starts to fit in, and people begin to accept him.
Sally, I can't thank you Sally, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for me. You've shown me that there's more to life than being a monster. A monster.
I'm glad I could help, Prologue. But we still have to be careful. There are people out there who want to hurt you if they knew we were what you were.
I knew, but I'm not afraid anymore. As long as I have you by my side, I can face anything.
As Prologue speaks, his body starts to convulse. Sally looks on in horror as Prologue transforms into a grotesque monster once again.
Prologue, what's happening? What's wrong with you?
I don't know, silly, but I think I'm dying.
Sally rushes to Prologue's side as he takes his last breath. She looks at him, tears streaming down her face.
I'm so sorry, Prologue. I'm sorry I couldn't save you.
Blackout. The scene opens in Eduardo's lab. Sally is carrying Prologue's lifeless body, tears streaming down her face. Eduardo rushes over to them.
What happened? Is he okay?
He's gone, Eduardo. He transformed back into a monster and then just died in my arms.
I'm sorry, Sally, but there may still be a chance. Let me see what I can do.
Eduardo examines Prologue's body and starts working on a series of experiments. After a few hours, Prologue's body begins to convulse once again, but this time, his transformation is different. Prologue's body starts to change, but instead of turning into a monster, he starts to look more and more human.
It's working. Sally, Prologue is coming back to life.
Sally watches in awe as Prologue's body finishes transforming. When it's over, Prologue looks like a normal human being with a few subtle differences.
Sally, Eduardo, thank you so much for saving me. I don't know what I would have done without you.
Prologue, you're human now.
Yes, I am. And it's all thanks to Eduardo's experiments. But there's something else you should know. I found out who was behind the lab experiments that created me.
Who was it?
Well, it was Charles. Charles was the investor in the lab experiments that created me. He wanted to create a monster that he could control, and he used his money to make it happen.
Charles? The grumpy billionaire? That's hard to believe.
I know, it sounds crazy, but it's true. He thought he could create something that would make him even richer.
The end.
Wow.
It's incredible. I don't know if the writer realized that they changed the name in the middle from Edward to Eduardo.
There's a character arc.
I would argue that it was a very intentional choice
yeah.
because so
Yes.
much of the themes within this story is about transformation and how there's like positive transformations that we can make that lead for us to like grow and become more compassionate toward ourselves and others. And yet there's some transformations that are just self-destructive and destructive to those in our lives.
It's true.
Yeah, one thing I really liked about it was right at the, we never really, Sally doesn't need to be like a person with thoughts. She just needs to ask questions about what's happening. And somehow she has developed this like really strong relationship with the monster, even though she hasn't done anything more than ask questions. And that just to me is like love transcends needing to like know a person, you know?
Well, we were talking about transformations. And I think a big question it asks is like, what are we meant to transform into? Like, Krolog wasn't evil from the beginning, but he was sort of forced to be subservient to this capitalist society. I think that, the political stuff gets a little heavy handed at the end, but it's really interesting that, I don't know, it's just, you need to change yourself to fit into this sort of American society that we've got.
I think we're glossing over the fact that doctor allowed Charles to leave the hospital. I mean, that clearly was not in any state to do so.
Well, I'm not sure how Edward was supposed to carry him in by himself on a stretcher, but that I wish I could. I was so upset when I didn't make the role that I refused to go see the play.
Yeah, it makes sense.
When it finally went up.
Yeah. I will say that my improv training, I feel like really benefited my performance and all of yours in this. I felt so connected to everyone. I think Sandy would have been proud. Meisner, my old teacher, and
I just called her Sand. I didn't. Him. I was kind of tight.
Him.
Him. That's Sandy. Yeah, that's right. When I studied with him, I called him Sand. He didn't like it.
I'd slap him on the butt and call him S. So I think
there you go.
We're
Same.
All right, so I guess we'll go right into the second play that we've got here. This one is a murder mystery play. All right, so this play was called The William Morris Mystery, and I auditioned for the role of Hugo and didn't get it. I can understand that, but this time, if you don't mind, I'd like to play a different character in it. And Landon, you said you would narrate this
you bet.
for us, right? Mm-hmm. Great. So you can start just where it says title.
Okay, title. Let's see. The Case of the Murdered Dean, Act 1. The play begins with William Morris, a grizzled detective, sitting in the office of the dean at a college. The room is quiet, and William is studying at the room carefully. Suddenly, Gertrude, an eccentric librarian, bursts into the room.
Oh my, what has happened? Is the dean all right?
I'm afraid not, Miss Gertrude. The dean has been murdered.
Murdered? Who could do such a thing?
That's what I intend to find out. According to the reports, the last person to see Dean alive was Professor Hugo.
Not Professor Hugo. He's always been so arrogant, but I never thought he would do something like this.
It's always the ones you least expect. But there were others in the building at the time of the murder. Wilma, the professor of law, was also present.
Wilma? But she's so superstitious. She wouldn't harm a fly.
You'd be surprised what people are capable of when they're pushed to their limits.
But what about you, Detective Morris? You're only 2 weeks from retirement. Can you handle this case?
I may be close to retirement, Miss Gertrude, but I'm not too old for one last case. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some investigating to do.
William Morris exits the room, leaving Gertrude alone.
Oh my. What a terrible thing to happen. I hope Detective Morris can solve this case.
The lights come back on, and we see William Morris interrogating Hugo and Wilma in the dean's office.
Professor Hugo, where were you at the time of the dean's murder?
I was in my office, of course. I have better things to do than kill the dean.
And you, Professor Wilma, what were you doing?
I was in the library looking for a book. I didn't see anyone else around.
Huh. Is that so? Miss Gertrude here said she saw you near the dean's office.
Yes, I saw her near the dean's office around the time of the murder.
I was just passing by. I swear, I didn't have anything to do with the murder.
Are you sure about that, Professor Wilma? You're known for your superstitions. Maybe you thought the dean was a bad omen.
How dare you accuse me of something like that? I'm a law professor. I would never do something like that.
And I suppose you think I would?
I'm not ruling anything out yet, Professor Hugo. But for now, I need you both to remain here while I continue my investigation.
The lights come back on, and we see Gertrude sitting in the library surrounded by books. William Morris enters the room.
Miss Gertrude, I need your help.
Of course, Detective Morris. What can I do?
I need you to tell me everything you know about the dean's murder. Did you notice anything suspicious?
Well, now that you mention it, there was something odd about Professor Hugo's behavior.
Go on.
I saw him coming out of the dean's office right before the murder. He seemed agitated, in a hurry.
That's valuable information, Miss Gertrude. But what about Professor Wilma?
I didn't see her around that day. She's usually not in the library at that time.
That's strange. According to her, she was in the library looking for a book.
Really? That's not what I saw.
It seems like we have conflicting stories here. I need to investigate further.
I'll help in any way I can, Detective Morris.
Thank you, Miss Gertrude. I have a feeling we'll need all the help we can get to solve this case.
The lights fade to black as the first act ends, leaving the audience wondering who the real killer might be and what other clues might be uncovered. The lights come back on, and we see William Morris exploring the basement of the college. He steps in front of an old rusted door with a small plaque that reads, "Restricted Access." William hesitates for a moment before reaching for the doorknob and turning it slowly. The door creaks open, revealing a narrow staircase leading down into the darkness.
Oh, this must be it.
He takes a deep breath and starts descending the staircase, which seems to go on forever. As he reaches the bottom, he finds himself in a dimly lit room filled with dusty books, strange objects, and symbols he can't identify. He realizes that he stumbled upon a secret occult library.
What the hell is this?
He starts browsing through the books, looking for any clues that might help him solve the dean's murder. After a few minutes, he comes across a strange, ancient-looking tome with a symbol on the cover that he's never seen before. He opens it up and starts reading, but the text is in a language he can't understand.
Damn it.
Just then, he hears footsteps approaching. He quickly hides behind a bookshelf, peeking through the gaps. It's Hugo and Wilma, both looking anxious and nervous.
Are you sure this is a good idea, Wilma?
Yes, we have to do this if we want to be free of his influence.
Fine. Let's get it over with.
They both approach a small altar in the center of the room and start performing a strange ritual, chanting in a language that William doesn't recognize. Suddenly, a bright light envelops the room, and William shields his eyes. When the light fades, he sees that the two professors have vanished without a trace.
What the hell just happened?
He looks around the room, trying to make sense of what he just witnessed. As he starts to leave the room, he spots something on the floor near the altar. It's a small, ornate dagger, covered in blood.
This must be the murder weapon.
The lights come back on, and we see William Morris exiting the secret occult library and walking back towards the regular library. As he enters the room, he sees Gertrude standing next to a fish tank, tears streaming down her face.
Miss Gertrude, what's wrong?
It's my fish. He's dead.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, but we have more pressing matters at hand. I need to talk to you about something important.
What is it?
I think there may be a connection between the dean's murder and the occult library I just discovered.
The occult library? What are you talking about?
Oh, it's a secret library hidden in the basement, filled with ancient books and strange symbols. I saw Professor Hugo and Professor Wilma performing some kind of ritual there. And I found this.
He shows her the dagger.
My God, this is terrible.
We need to find out more about this. Do you know anything that might help us?
Well, now that you mention it, I remember the dean talking about some strange occurrences at the college recently. He said that he was worried about some professors dabbling in the occult.
That's interesting. Do you know which professors he was referring to?
I'm not sure, but I do remember him saying he was going to investigate it further.
That's good to know. We need to follow up on this.
Just then, they hear a commotion outside the library. They rush to the window to see a group of students protesting outside, demanding answers about the dean's murder.
We can't let this go on any longer. We need to solve this case before it's too late.
The lights fade to black as the second act ends, leaving the audience wondering what other clues might be uncovered and who else might be involved in the dean's murder. The lights come back up on the library, now transformed into a makeshift investigation room with William Morris, Gertrude, and a team of forensic experts poring over evidence, photographs, and witness statements.
All right, everyone, we need to focus on finding any clues that might lead us to the killer. Gertrude, can you tell us more about the strange occurrences the dean mentioned?
Well, I remember hearing some weird noises coming from the professor's lounge late at night, and some students complaining about seeing strange symbols in the courtyard.
Okay, well, that's a start. We need to interview the students and anyone else who might have seen or heard something.
As the team sets off to gather more evidence, William Morris takes a moment to reflect on the case. He knows that time is running out, as he's only had a few days left before retirement. He thinks back on his long and illustrious career and how this case might be the last chance to make a real difference. Just then, he hears a knock at the door. He turns to see Wilma standing there, looking nervous.
Detective Morris, I need to talk to you about something.
What is it, Professor?
I know that you suspect me and Professor Hugo of being involved in the dean's murder, but I swear I had nothing to do with it.
I find that hard to believe, given the evidence we've uncovered.
Please, detective, you have to believe me. I might be superstitious, but I'm not a killer.
All right. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for now, but I need to ask you some questions about the strange occurrences at the college. Can you tell me more about them?
Yes, of course. I've heard some rumors about Professor Hugo being involved in some kind of occult group, but I didn't think much of it at the time.
Well, can you tell me more about this group?
I don't know much, only that they're interested in ancient rituals and magic, but I never saw anything that would suggest that they were involved in anything illegal.
Okay, that's helpful. I'll keep that in mind.
As Wilma leaves, William Morris turns to Gertrude and the team.
All right, let's follow up on these leads and see if we can find anything that might help us solve this case.
The lights fade to black as the audience wonders who might be telling the truth and who might be the real killer. The lights come back up on Wilma's office, where she is frantically trying to organize her papers. Suddenly, the door bursts open and in strides Hugo, looking furious.
Wilma, what the hell did you do? Why did you talk to the detective about me?
I didn't have a choice, Hugo. He was asking questions about the strange occurrences at the college. I had to tell him what I knew.
And what exactly did you tell him? Did you tell him about our group?
I only told him what I heard, Hugo. I didn't say anything that would incriminate you.
That's easy for you to say, but what if the detective starts digging deeper? What if he finds out that you told him? What if he finds out more that you told him? More than
Hugo.
you told him. What if he finds out more than you told him? What if?
Hugo, I swear I didn't tell him anything that would implicate you. But if you're really involved in something illegal, then maybe it's time to come clean and tell the truth.
No, Wilma. I can't do that. Not now. Not when I'm so close to achieving my goal.
What goal? What are you talking about?
You'll see, Wilma. You'll see soon enough.
As Hugo leaves, Wilma is left wondering what exactly he's hiding and whether she should go to the police with what she knows. The lights fade to black, leaving the audience on the edge of their seats, wondering who the real killer might be and what Hugo's true intentions are. The scene opens in Hugo's office. Hugo is sitting at his desk, with a book of dark magic open in front of him. He is muttering to himself as he looks over the text. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. Hugo quickly closes the book and stands up, trying to compose himself.
Come in.
The door opens and in walks William Morris, looking serious and determined.
Hugo, we need to talk.
Of course, detective. What can I help you with?
You know exactly what I'm here for, Hugo. I know you're the one who killed the dean.
I see you've figured it out, detective. But what are you going to do about it? You can't prove anything.
I don't need to prove anything, Hugo. I know what you're capable of. And I also know what you're trying to achieve with your dark magic.
Oh, do you now? And what is it that I'm trying to achieve, detective?
You're trying to gain power, Hugo. Power over others, power over life and death. But that's not how the world works. And you're going to pay for what you've done.
You can't stop me, detective. I have the power of the dark arts on my side. You're just a mortal, and you're no match for me.
Suddenly, Hugo raises his hand and a burst of energy shoots out towards William. But William is quicker and manages to dodge the blast. He pulls out his gun and aims it at Hugo.
Surrender now, Hugo. The game is over.
You win, detective. But know this, even if you kill me, my legacy will live on. The power of the dark arts cannot be stopped.
We'll see about that. Take him away, officers.
As Hugo is led away in handcuffs, the lights fade to black. The sound of the police sirens fills the theater, and the audience is left wondering what other secrets might be hidden beneath the surface of the college, waiting to be uncovered. The end.
Wow, that was incredible.
Powerful.
Wow.
Powerful stuff.
Did any of you guess who the killer was before we got to the end?
No.
It was almost impossible to guess who it could have been. There were just so many twists and turns.
So many twists and turns.
So much.
So many twists and turns. I felt like it was refreshing to play Wilma. I felt like I really connected to that character. And had I been able to audition as Wilma, I think that my life would have probably unfolded a little differently.
Probably.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen all of the women in this replaced with male actors.
Yeah.
I think that would be really helpful.
Just play with the casting in that way, yeah.
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
male.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I used to improvise with Johnny Cassavetes, he introduced me to his friend Peter Falk, and I used to do my detective character kind of like this in front of him. And I think I might have inspired him because he did a show where he played a detective a little bit like that.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that he owes me the voice, I guess.
Yeah. I love Matlock. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready for the final play of the day?
I mean,
Yes.
is there any other answer than yes?
Now, this one was written by a friend. This is written by Kevin Prado. I think he's written many plays. So I don't want us to be too critical of it, but he would like our honest opinion at the end of whether or not we've enjoyed it.
Art is collaborative.
We open on a space station orbiting a distant planet. Gooby is cleaning the floors with his tentacles when Aaron Martin, Monty, and Gwen De Niro enter the room.
Gooby, How's everything looking? We need this place to be spotless for the big ceremony tonight.
Everything is looking good, Captain. I've been scrubbing the floors all day.
Good work, Gooby. You're a natural at cleaning this thing.
Can we get this over already? I have better things to do than watch some silly ceremony.
Gwen, you know the ceremony is important. It's to honor your father, the current king of space.
Yeah, I know. But can't we just skip it this year? I mean, it's not like anything exciting ever happens around here.
Gwen, you know the rules. The ceremony must go on as planned.
Speaking of rules, Captain, we need to talk about the engine. It's been acting up lately, and we need to fix it before it causes any major problems.
Right. Let's head to the engine room and take a look.
Gooby follows the group, still nervously cleaning the floors. As they exit the room, an alarm suddenly blares, and the space station begins to shake violently.
What's happening? Is it the engine?
No, it's not the engine. It's something else.
You need to get out of here now.
I'm sorry. I tripped over a mop bucket.
Come on, Gooby. We need to get to the escape pods.
The group rushes towards the nearest escape pod as the space station continues to shake and rumble. Just as they reach the pod, a loud explosion rocks the station and the lights go out.
Does anyone have a flashlight or something we can use to see where we're going?
I might have something here in my toolbox. Let me...
Hurry up, Monty.
See?
We don't have much time.
Got it. Let's go.
As they run towards the escape pod, they hear strange noises coming from the walls and ceiling.
What does that sound? Is it the aliens?
No, Gooby. It's probably just the station's structural integrity breaking down. Now keep moving.
They finally reach the escape pod and climb inside. Aaron Martin takes the pilot seat and starts the launch sequence.
Come on. We need to get out of here before the whole station explodes.
Oh no, look.
They see a massive alien ship hovering outside the space station, firing energy beams at it.
What in the galaxy is that thing?
We need to launch now. Hang on tight, everyone.
The escape pod launches into space just as the space station explodes behind them. They watch in horror as the alien ship destroys what's left of the station.
My father, he was still on the station?
Hey, we don't know that for sure, Gwen. Let's focus on getting to safety first.
All right, we're low on fuel supplies and supplies. We need to find a place to land soon.
All right, let's set course for the nearest planet and hope for the best. We'll figure out what to do once we're on the ground.
The group stares out into the void of space, unsure of what lies ahead. But one thing is certain, their journey is just beginning. As the escape pod hurtles through space, the group's thoughts turn to what awaits them on the unknown planet. Gooby is huddled in a corner, still shaking from the shock of the explosion. Aaron Martin is focused on the controls, trying to conserve as much fuel as possible. Monty is busy scanning for any signs of life on the planet.
Captain, I'm picking up some strange readings from the planet's surface. There's definitely something down there.
Great work, Monty. That gives us a fighting chance. Gooby, how you holding up?
I'm okay, Captain. I'm just a little scared.
Me too. But we have to be brave, for my father's sake.
That's right. We can't give up now. We'll make it through this together.
As they near the planet's atmosphere, the escape pod jolts and shakes, buffeted by the intense turbulence. Aaron Martin grips the controls tightly, trying to keep the pod on course.
Hang on, everyone! This is gonna be a rough landing.
The escape pod crashes into the planet's surface, bouncing and skidding along the rough terrain before finally coming to a stop. The group emerges, battered and bruised, but alive.
What kind of planet is this? There's nothing here but rocks and dust.
There's definitely some kind of energy source here, but I can't pinpoint it.
Maybe we should split up and look for it?
No matter how hard I try to pinpoint it, I can't quite pinpoint it.
Maybe we should split up and look for it.
Gooby, where's Gooby?
Gooby's frozen.
Where's Gooby when you need him?
Maybe?
Oh, Gooby's back.
Gooby,
no,
Gooby,
no,
get over here.
No, I'm I'm fine. We should split up and look for it.
That's a great idea. That's a good idea, Gooby. But we need to be careful. We don't know what's out there.
The group sets off in different directions, searching for any sign of life or civilization. As they trudge through the barren landscape, they encounter strange creatures and plants, some of which seem hostile.
This place gives me the creeps. I can't wait to get back to civilization.
Wait, look over there. I think I see something.
They rush towards a distant structure, hoping it will provide shelter and answers. As they approach, they see that it's a massive alien temple, unlike anything they've ever seen before.
This is incredible. But why would there be a temple all the way out here?
Let's find out. Maybe there are clues inside.
The group cautiously enters the temple, not knowing what dangers or secrets lie within. But they know one thing for sure. Their journey has just taken a strange and unexpected turn. As the group explores the mysterious alien temple, they come across strange artifacts and symbols, none of which they can decipher.
Oh my God. This is like nothing I've ever seen before. The technology's so advanced, it's almost magical.
Maybe it is magic. My people have legends of powerful sorcerers who could do amazing things.
I don't know about magic, Gooby, but I do know that this temple is important. We need to find out what it's all about.
My father always told me that knowledge is power. Maybe there's something here that can help us.
As they move deeper into the temple, they come across a massive chamber filled with strange devices and glowing crystals.
Oh, this must be the heart of the temple. Look at all this
Be
energy.
careful, Monty. We don't know what any of this does.
Suddenly, a holographic image appears before them, depicting an alien creature unlike any they've ever seen. It speaks to them in a strange language, but somehow they can understand it.
Greetings, travelers. I am the guardian of this temple. Who are you and what brings you here?
We are a group of stranded travelers seeking refuge and knowledge.
And we mean no harm. We just want to learn more about this place.
And what knowledge do you seek?
We need to find a way off this planet and back to civilization. And we hope that you can help us.
The alien hologram considers their request for a moment before responding.
Very well. I will assist you in your quest, oh yeah, but be warned, the path ahead is perilous. You must prove yourselves worthy to receive my help.
The hologram disappears, and the group is left in the chamber wondering what they must do next.
What do you think he meant by prove ourselves worthy, oh yeah?
I don't know, but we have to try. We don't have any other options.
Then let's do this, whatever it takes.
The group sets off, determined to complete the challenges ahead and earn the alien hologram's help, but they have no idea what dangers and trials await them in the depths of the temple. As the group journeys deeper into the temple, they encounter a series of challenges that test their strength, intelligence, and courage. First, they must navigate a maze of twisting corridors and deadly traps, relying on Monty's mechanical skills to find and disable the traps before they can harm them. Next, they must solve a series of complex puzzles, deciphering the alien language and symbols to unlock hidden passages and secret chambers. Finally, they must come to a chamber filled with strange creatures and powerful energy fields. They must work together to defeat the creatures and navigate the energy fields, using their unique skills and abilities to overcome the obstacles in their path. As they emerge from the chamber, they find themselves face to face with a holographic image once more.
You have proven yourself worthy, travelers. Your bravery, intelligence, and resourcefulness have earned my assistance.
Thank you. We couldn't have done it without your help.
What can you offer us?
Ooh, the knowledge and technology you seek. But be warned, the power of this temple is not to be taken lightly. Use it wisely or suffer the consequences.
With that, the hologram disappears, leaving the group with a newfound sense of hope and possibility.
Oh, I can't believe it. We did it. We actually did it.
And we did it together.
Now, let's get out of here and find our way back home.
With this knowledge and technology, we can change the course of history. We can make a difference.
As the group sets off back to their ship, they know their lives will never be the same. They have faced incredible challenges and overcome impossible odds. And they have emerged stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever before. As the group returns to their ship, they're met with a surprising sight. Dozens of other ships from all across the galaxy have gathered around the planet.
What's going on here?
It looks like word of the temple is spread. Everyone wants a piece of the knowledge and technology it holds.
But how did they all find out about it?
Wait a minute. Look over there.
He points to a small ship barely visible in the distance.
I recognize that ship. It belongs to a smuggler I met a few months ago. He's been bragging about finding something big, something that could make him rich.
He must have stumbled upon the temple.
Then we have to stop him. He can't be allowed to exploit the knowledge and technology for his own gain.
We have to protect the temple and the power it holds.
The group springs into action, working together oh boy. I'll take that again. Breathe in, breathe out. The group springs into action, working together to gather the other ships and form the plans. They know that time is of the essence, and that they must act quickly to prevent the smuggler from causing any harm. As they approach the smuggler's ship, they see that he has already breached the temple's defenses and is trying to extract the power source.
Stop right there.
Too late, Captain. I already have what I came for.
You can't take that power source. It belongs to the people of the galaxy, not just you.
And if you try to use it for personal gain, there will be
The
consequences.
smuggler hesitates, but then raises his weapon.
I don't take kindly to threats. Back off or I'll use this.
We don't want to fight you, but we will if we have to.
With that, the two sides square off, weapons at the ready. It's a tense standoff with neither side willing to back down. But then, something unexpected happens. The power source begins to glow, and a beam of light shoots out from it, enveloping the entire area. As the light fades, the group looks around in amazement. The smuggler's ship is gone, replaced by a pile of ash. And the power source is gone too, its energy dispersed throughout the galaxy.
What just happened?
I think the power source was too much for him to handle. It must have overloaded his ship and caused it to explode.
And the energy it released was too powerful to contain. It had to be released to the universe, of course.
And now it's ours. All of ours.
We have a responsibility to use this power wisely to make the galaxy a better place.
And with this power, we can do anything.
As the group looks up at the stars, they know their journey is far from over. But with the knowledge and technology they've gained, they are more than ready to face whatever comes their way. With the power source dispersed throughout the galaxy, the group returned to their ship and set a course for home. As they traveled through space, they couldn't help but reflect on all they'd learned and accomplished.
It's amazing to think that all of this started with a routine repair mission.
And now we've uncovered some of the greatest secrets of the universe.
With this knowledge and power, we can change the galaxy for the better.
And we did it all together.
As they approached Earth, the group prepared to part ways, but they knew that they would always be connected by their shared experience and the bond they had formed.
Thank you all for everything. I couldn't have done it without you.
Same here. We make a pretty good goddamn team.
Then who knows what other adventures we might get into the future.
I can't wait.
As they said their goodbyes and went their separate ways, the group knew that their journey had only just begun. But with each other's support and the power of the universe at their fingertips, they were ready for whatever the future held. And they knew that they would always be united by their shared journey through space and time. Blackout.
Wow.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Incredible.
Do you guys have any notes for Kevin Prado on the script?
I mean, I thought
It does seem, it was incredible. Kevin did seem like he got, I guess, bored at one point and just sort of wrote out the activities without any lines or stage direction.
I kind of would have liked to see. Yeah, it probably was a montage. I would have liked to seen them go through the 3 different steps of the challenge instead of just quickly describing.
I also find it interesting that in both this play and the other play, written by entirely different people, we had the solution to the problem end up being a power beam of light envelop the entire room, and then something appears or
That's
disappears.
God in the machine right there. God in the machine,
You're
my
right.
friend.
You know what? You're right.
I love that in each of these, although written by 3 different playwrights, I got to sob. It's so as the strong female
Such
character, I
accurately-
just love the chance to get to cry.
Well, yeah. So unfortunately, we don't need any more suggestions from anyone. So do not email suggestions to originalunderstudiespodcast@gmail.com, because we will only be doing theater from now.
Real theater.
Real
Scripted,
theater, like
real
you've
theater.
experienced today.
Just like Stan wanted. Islavsky.
Thanks for listening to an April Fool's episode of Original Understudies. No, we won't be getting rid of improv in our podcast in the future. This was an April Fool's joke, and I hope you guys found it funny. Because if you found it half as funny as we did when we were reading these scripts, well, then I'd say it's a success. I don't know if you could tell, but this was actually... These scripts, these plays, were actually written by ChatGPT. So we were busting up laughing because it was so crazy to read something written by AI that was so good or so bad, something in between the most awful and bestest thing I've ever read. But nonetheless, this episode wouldn't be possible without our mastering engineer,
Toivo Kallio,
and our incredible cast.
Aaron Martin, Kevin Prado, and William Morris.
Who kind of did get to show up in today's episode. Who would have thunk it? Wild. So I hate to get too far into it, but we took people's names. And when I say we, it was me. I took people's names, put little describers in there, and put it into ChatGPT and asked it to make me a one-act play. And that's how each of these scripts came.
Crazy.
Nonetheless, we are still taking suggestions, so please send them to originalunderstudiespodcast@gmail.com. Send me a question, a suggestion as a conversation starter, or what the hell. Send me something to feed the ChatGPT, and we'll see if we can't turn it into an inspiration for the show. And give a review. Those reviews make it easier for people searching to find us when they're looking for comedy podcasts.
Original Understudies.
See, that's